Before we begin, take a moment to find a comfortable position. Adjust the pillows beneath your head. Pull the covers up to your chin, creating a warm, safe cocoon against the imaginary chill of the outside world. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Unclench your jaw. Let your breath become slow and deep, mimicking the rhythm of a slow winter wind. Tonight, we are going to explore the quietest phenomenon on Earth. We are going to journey into the science and the history of the cold, finding warmth in the knowledge of how the world rests. The descent. Imagine, if you will, that you are standing by a large window in an old, sturdy house. It is late, past the hour when the rest of the world has gone to sleep. The room behind you is dim, lit only by the dying embers of a wood fire, casting a soft orange glow on the floorboards. But your attention is turned outward, toward the glass. Outside, the sky has turned that unique, luminous shade of violet gray that only exists in winter. The air is heavy, pregnant with anticipation, and then it begins. The first flake falls. It is followed by another, and then another. They do not rush, they drift, governed by a gravity that seems gentler than the one that pulls at rain or leaves. They spiral in a slow waltz, catching the faint light of the street lamps or the moon, descending from the dark heavens to the waiting earth. As the snowfall thickens, something magical begins to happen. It is not a visual trick, but an auditory one. The world does not just turn white, it turns silent. The science of silence. There is a profound scientific reason why a fresh snowfall feels so peaceful. It is one of the most relaxing facts in nature. Fresh snow is one of the best sound-absorbing materials known to man. To understand this, imagine the architecture of a single snowflake. As it falls, it is not a solid block of ice like a hailstone. It is a lattice. It is a masterpiece of hexagonal geometry, a delicate skeleton of crystal with vast open spaces between its arms. When these millions of snowflakes land, they do not pack together tightly, not at first. They land softly, piling up in a chaotic, fluffy arrangement. This structure creates something marvelous, porosity. A layer of fresh, uncompacted snow is composed of up to 90 to 95% trapped air. When the noise of the world, the hum of a distant highway, the bark of a dog, the footsteps of a late-night walker, travels through the air, it moves as a sound wave. When these waves hit a hard surface, like pavement or frozen soil, they bounce back, they echo, they reverberate, keeping the world loud and sharp. But when those sound waves hit the fresh snow, they encounter a trap. They dive into the tiny spaces between the ice crystals, into those millions of pockets of air. The sound energy enters the snowpack, but it cannot escape. It bounces around deep inside the microscopic caverns of the snow, losing energy with each turn, until the sound simply dissolves. It is known as the damping effect. Nature effectively lays a thick acoustic blanket over the landscape. The science tells us that a couple of inches of fresh snow can absorb more than 60% of ambient noise. It acts remarkably like the foam soundproofing used in high-end recording studios. So when you look out that window and feel that the world has gone quiet, you are not imagining it. The snow is literally swallowing the noise, scrubbing the air of chaos, leaving only a pure velvet silence. A historical hush. Let us drift back in time to appreciate this silence more fully. Imagine the American Northeast in the late 19th century. Picture a bustling city like Boston or New York in the year 1890. In those days, the city was a place of iron and stone. It was a loud place. The The streets were paved with cobblestones. All day and night, the metal-rimmed wheels of carriages and wagons clattered violently against the uneven stones. The iron shoes of horses struck the pavement with a sharp, rhythmic clip-clop. The sound was constant, a jagged industrial symphony of a growing nation. But then, the northeaster would roll in. As the snow began to pile up on Fifth Avenue or Beacon Street, the city underwent a transformation that felt almost holy. The snow filled the cracks between the cobblestones. Then it covered the stones entirely. When the carriages ventured out the next morning, the metal wheels no longer clattered. They rolled silently over the packed powder. The horses' hooves no longer rang out against the stone. They landed with a dull, soft thud. The shouting of merchants, the ringing of bells, all of it was dampened, muffled by the white insulation draped over the roofs and the roads. For the people living in those times, the velvet silence of snow was a reprieve. It was a rare moment when the aggressive volume of the Industrial Revolution was paused by the soft hand of nature. It was a time when a person could walk down the center of a busy avenue and hear nothing but their own breath and the crunch of their boots. The comparison of rain versus snow. Think for a moment about the difference between rain and snow. Rain is a percussion instrument. It drums on the roof. It splatters against the glass. It splashes in puddles. Rain demands to be heard. It is active. It is busy. Snow is the opposite. It is a suspension of activity. When a snowflake lands, it makes no sound audible to the human ear. It touches the ground with a feather-light grace. If you were to stand in the middle of a forest during a heavy rainstorm, the roar would be overwhelming. But stand in that same forest during a heavy snowfall, and the silence is so deep you can hear the blood rushing in your own ears. This is the acoustic shadow. The snow hangs on the branches of the hemlocks and the pines, creating walls of soft foam that block sound from traveling sideways. You are contained in a room of white, isolated from whatever lies beyond the tree line. The emotional resonance. This scientific silence triggers a deep primal relaxation within us. Throughout human history, loud noises have signaled danger, thunder, rockfalls, predators, alarms. Silence, particularly the insulated silence of a snowstorm, signals safety. When the snow falls, the world stops moving. Schools close, businesses shut their doors, the roads become impassable. The frantic pace of modern life is forced to yield to the weather. There is a collective permission granted to everyone. You do not have to go anywhere. You do not have to do anything. The snow locks us inside our homes. It turns the home into a sanctuary. The contrast is what makes it so soothing. Outside, the air is freezing. Inside, the hearth is warm. Outside, the world is white and undefined. Inside, the colors are rich and familiar. Outside, the sound is deadened. Inside, the crackle of a fire or the turning of a page becomes the only soundtrack. Drifting into the white. Now visualize that the snow outside your window has deepened. It has covered the fences and the mailboxes. It has rounded the sharp edges of the world. Cars look like sleeping bears under white mounds. The streetlights are glowing with halos of diamond dust. The absorption is complete. The air is still. As you lie in your bed, imagine that your thoughts are like those sound waves. The worries of the day, the lists of things to do, the regrets and the plans. Imagine them drifting out of your mind and into the snow. They float out into the cold night air, and land on the fresh powder. And just like the noise of the city, the snow absorbs them. It takes the sharp edges of your thoughts and muffles them. It traps them in those millions of tiny air pockets, holding them suspended, far away from you. The snow is a heavy velvet blanket, not just for the earth, but for your mind. It is covering the grass, the pavement, and the noise. It is creating a clean slate, a blank page. Everything is soft. Everything is muffled. The vibration of the world has slowed down to a standstill. Listen to the silence. It is a thick, luxurious presence. It wraps around the house, hugging the walls, keeping the peace inside.
You are safe in the center of the quiet. The snow will keep falling through the night, adding layer upon layer of softness, deepening the hush, guarding your sleep. Let the white noise of the mind fade into the white silence of the snow. The world is asleep. The ground is asleep. The trees are asleep. And now into this velvet silence, you too can drift, drift, drift. You are still safe. You are still warm. The velvet silence of the snow outside is still holding the world in its quiet embrace. Now that we have listened to the hush of the winter world, let us open the eye of the mind. Let us look closer, much, much closer. We are going to shrink down, smaller than a pine needle, smaller than a grain of sand, until we are standing at the very center of a single snowflake. To do this, we must travel back in time again. We are leaving the city streets of the previous chapter and heading north, deep into the heart of the American countryside. We are going to the green, rolling hills of Jericho, Vermont. The year is 1885. The farm in Jericho. Imagine a farmhouse sitting alone in a vast valley. It is a sturdy wooden structure built to withstand the long, hard winters of New England. Smoke curls lazily from the chimney, rising into a gray sky that promises a storm. Inside, there is the smell of old wood, dried herbs, and the warmth of a cast-iron stove. But our story does not take place by the fire. It takes place in the cold. In this farmhouse lives a young man named Wilson Alwyn Bentley. While other farmers are concerned with the livestock or the price of grain, Wilson is obsessed with something else. Since he was a boy, he has been captivated by the tiny miracles of beauty that fall from the sky. He is a quiet man, a patient man, a man who loves the winter more than the summer. He sees something in the snow that no one else sees. To his neighbors, snow is a nuisance, something to be shoveled, something that freezes the crops. To Wilson, it is a gallery of infinite art. The apparatus. Visualize a small, unheated woodshed at the back of the farmhouse. This is Wilson's laboratory. It must be as cold inside as it is outside, or else his subjects will vanish into water. In the center of this drafty shed stands a machine that looks like a contraption from a fantasy novel. It is a large, heavy bellows camera, an accordion-like box made of wood and leather attached to a microscope. It is a marriage of art and science, brass and glass. Wilson stands there, dressed in a heavy wool coat, a thick scarf wrapped around his neck, fingerless gloves on his hands. He is waiting. He is watching the open doorway, looking for the telltale swirl of white. The storm begins. The wind blows through the cracks in the shed, but Wilson does not shiver. He is too focused. He steps to the doorway with a small wooden tray covered in black velvet. The ritual of capture. It is a process of extreme gentleness.
It is a meditation in motion. Wilson holds the black velvet out into the falling snow. He catches a few flakes. He pulls the tray back inside. Now he must work quickly, but with the steady hands of a surgeon. He scans the velvet. Most of the flakes are broken, smashed by the wind or clumped together. But there, in the corner, is a perfect specimen, a single, solitary crystal, lying flat against the darkness of the fabric. He picks up his tool. It is not a metal pair of tweezers which would transfer heat and melt the ice. It is a splinter from a turkey feather. It is light, organic, and does not hold heat. With the tip of the feather, he gently touches the snowflake. He lifts it. He holds his breath. If he breathes on the crystal, it will disappear instantly. He places it onto a glass slide. He slides it under the microscope lens of his great camera. He peers through the eyepiece. The hidden world. What Wilson Bentley saw in 1885 changed the way humanity understands nature. Until that moment, people knew snowflakes were pretty, but they did not know they were masterpieces of geometry. Imagine looking through that lens with him. The gray, blurry world falls away. Suddenly, you are confronted with a structure of blinding clarity. It is a hexagon, a six-sided star carved from ice, but it is not simple. It is a palace of symmetry. From the center, 6 arms radiate outward. They are perfectly balanced. Along each arm there are fern-like branches, and on those branches, smaller branches still. It looks like a frozen fern, or a star made of lace, or a cathedral floor plan drawn by a divine hand. The lines are sharp, the edges are crisp. It is translucent, glowing with a ghostly inner light. It is a fleeting jewel, more complex than a diamond, yet it was created in the chaotic turbulence of a storm cloud. Wilson adjusts the knobs of the camera. Click. He exposes the glass plate. He has done it. He has captured the shadow of the crystal before it returns to the water from which it came. He has frozen time. The infinite variety. Wilson Bentley spent his entire life in that cold woodshed. He photographed over 5,000 snow crystals, and as the years passed, as the winters came and went, he realized a profound truth, a fact that is now famous but was once a startling discovery. No 2 snowflakes are alike. Let your mind rest on that concept for a moment. The infinity of nature. Think of the billions of snowflakes that fall in a single storm. Think of the storms that have fallen over millions of years. And yet, because of the chaotic atmospheric conditions, the slight changes in temperature, humidity, and wind speed as the flake falls through the clouds, every single crystal writes its own unique history in ice. A snowflake is a map of its journey. As it tumbles through the sky, it grows. If it passes through a wet cloud, it grows broad, flat plates. If it passes through dry, cold air, it grows sharp, needle-like spines. Since no 2 flakes follow the exact same path from the cloud to the earth, no 2 flakes are ever the same. Wilson called them masterpieces of design. He said it was a shame that this beauty was unseen by others, that it blossomed and faded away in the obscurity of the storm. But tonight, we see them. Visualizing the shapes. As you lie in the dark, try to visualize these shapes floating behind your closed eyelids. Picture a stellar dendrite. This is the classic snowflake shape. It has a small center and 6 long, intricate arms that look like ferns. They are large and fragile. They are the ones that clump together to make sticky snow, the kind that clings to the trees in a winter wonderland. Picture a sectored plate. These are simpler. They look like a hexagon with a flower petal design inside. They are clear and glass-like, rigid and strong. Picture a fern-like stellar dendrite. These are feathery and soft. They have so many tiny branches that they look like velvet under the microscope. Imagine them spinning slowly in the dark void of your mind, silver and white, symmetrical and perfect. The solitude of the snow. There is something deeply restful about Wilson Bentley's life. He did not chase fame. He did not seek fortune. He simply loved the snow. He loved the quiet. He loved the cold. He would stand in the freezing wind for hours waiting for the perfect flake. He found peace in the patience. He found warmth in the discovery. Think of the stillness of that woodshed in Vermont. The only sound is the wind outside and the scratching of the turkey feather on the glass. It is a solitary pursuit, a private conversation between a man and the elements. This is the energy we invite into your sleep tonight, the appreciation of the small things, the ability to pause and look closely, the understanding that beauty exists even in the harshest environments, melting into sleep.
Wilson Bentley taught us that beauty is transient. A snowflake exists for a few minutes, maybe an hour, and then it melts. It returns to the great cycle of water. It becomes a drop of dew, a part of a river, a mist in the morning air. It does not struggle against this change, it accepts it. As you drift deeper into relaxation, imagine yourself as one of Wilson's snowflakes. You are unique. There is no one else in the world with your thoughts, your history, your design. You are a complex, beautiful creation. But now it is time to rest. It is time to soften. Imagine the sharp edges of your day melting away. The tension in your muscles is like the ice. It is solid, but under the warmth of your blankets, it turns to water. It flows away. The 6-sided star of your consciousness begins to lose its rigid shape. The geometry dissolves. The thoughts lose their structure. You are no longer a crystal. You are the water. You are the mist. You are the cloud. Wilson Bentley packs away his camera. He closes the door of the woodshed. He walks back to the warm glow of the farmhouse. The storm continues outside, burying the world in a blanket of infinite, unique stars. The camera shutter is closed. The light is dim. The focus softens. Rest now in the knowledge of the infinite. Rest in the quiet beauty of the snow. From the microscopic to the majestic. You have seen the snowflake. You have visualized the delicate 6-sided star resting on the black velvet of your mind. Now let us expand our vision. Let us zoom out, pulling back from the single crystal until we see the landscape in its entirety. Imagine that the snow does not stop falling. In the high places of the world, the peaks of the Alaskan ranges, the deep valleys of the Rockies, the frozen shoulders of the Alps, the snow does not melt when spring comes. It stays. One winter follows another. Layer upon layer of white powder accumulates. The weight grows heavy. The snowflakes at the bottom are pressed together, closer and closer, until the delicate arms of the stars are crushed, merging into granules, and then finally into a solid, seamless mass of ice. We are leaving the world of the fragile and entering the realm of the eternal. We are going to visit the glacier, the landscape of deep time. Imagine you are standing on a high ridge overlooking a vast valley.
The air here is thin and crisp, cleaner than any air you have ever breathed. It smells of stone and cold water. Below you lies a river, but it is not a river of water that rushes and roars. It is a river of ice. It is a massive, white highway that winds its way through the mountains, stretching for miles, disappearing into the mist of the peaks above. This is a place of absolute stillness, or so it seems. To the human eye, the glacier looks like a statue. It is frozen in place, a solid sculpture of white and blue locked between the granite walls of the mountain. But if you were to watch it with the patience of the earth itself, you would see that it is moving. It is flowing.
The physics of slowness. There is a profound relaxation in understanding the movement of a glacier. It is the definition of unhurried. In our modern lives, we rush, we race against the clock. But the glacier knows no schedule. It moves under the influence of gravity and its own immense weight. The ice, though solid, possesses a quality that scientists call viscosity. Under enough pressure, ice behaves like a very, very thick liquid, like honey or molasses pouring in slow motion. Imagine the sheer weight of it. Billions of tons of ice pressing down, grounding itself against the earth. This mass slides downhill at a pace that is almost imperceptible. Some glaciers move only a few inches a day, others a few feet. It is a slow, heavy, rhythmic slide. It is a movement so gradual that it mimics the drift of a sleeper entering a dream. There is no urgency here. The glacier has nowhere to be. It is simply surrendering to gravity, letting the pull of the earth guide it down the valley, inch by inch, year by year. The colors of pressure. As we look closer at this frozen river, notice the colors. It is not just white. Where the ice is fractured or where it runs deep, it glows with an otherworldly luminescence. You see shades of aquamarine, turquoise, and sapphire. This is the glacier blue. This color is created by time and pressure. The ice is so dense, so compacted, that it has squeezed out every tiny pocket of air. It is so pure that it absorbs every color of the spectrum except for blue. Imagine walking across this surface. It is not smooth like a skating rink. It is textured. It is wind-swept. There are sculptures carved by the sun, small ridges and valleys on the surface of the ice itself. You are walking on water that fell from the sky before your grandparents were born. You are walking on history, the sound of the ice. Listen, the silence of a glacial valley is profound, but it is not empty. If you listen closely, you can hear the glacier speaking. It is a low, deep sound, creak, groan, settle. These are the sounds of the ice adjusting its weight. It is the sound of tension being released. It is not a scary sound. It is the sound of a heavy sleeper shifting in bed. It is a deep, resonant bass note that vibrates through the rock and the air. Occasionally, you might hear a faint trickling. Even in the coldest places, the sun melts the surface just enough to create tiny, sapphire blue streams that run along the top of the ice. They wind their way through the white expanse, vanishing down into vertical shafts called moulins, spiraling deep into the heart of the glacier. The sound of this water is like a lullaby, a gentle, melodic tinkling against the backdrop of the massive, silent ice.
Carving the earth. As the glacier moves, it performs a task of immense power and gentleness. It sculpts the world. Think of the shape of a mountain valley. A river cuts a sharp V into the earth. But a glacier? A glacier is a wide, heavy blanket. As it slides, it scours the bedrock. It widens the valley. It rounds the sharp edges. It turns the V into a smooth, gentle U. This is how the magnificent valleys of Yosemite were formed. This is how the fjords of Norway and Alaska were created. The glacier acts like a giant polishing stone. It grinds away the rough surfaces of the planet. It takes the jagged, chaotic rocks and smooths them down. Imagine the friction, the slow, steady sanding of the earth. It is a process of refinement. The glacier is in no rush to finish its work. It has millennia. It works with a patience that we can only dream of. Visualizing this smoothing process can smooth your own mind. Imagine the heavy ice sliding over the jagged worries of your day. Imagine it polishing the rough edges of your thoughts. It grinds them down, smoothing them out, leaving behind a surface that is clean, polished, and serene. The ancient atmosphere. Let us go deeper into the ice. Trapped inside this frozen river are tiny bubbles. These are not ordinary bubbles. They are time capsules. When the snow fell thousands of years ago, it trapped tiny pockets of the ancient atmosphere. Deep inside the glacier, there is air from the time of the Romans. There is air from the time of the pyramids. There is air from the last ice age, when mammoths walked the tundra. The glacier holds these secrets safe. It protects them. It is a library of the past, kept frozen and pristine. There is a sense of safety in this preservation. The ice is a vault. Nothing changes down there. The chaos of the passing centuries does not touch the deep ice. It remains constant, stable, unmoving, even as it moves. The terminal release. Eventually, the journey of the glacier reaches its end. It travels down from the high peaks, moving slowly through the centuries until it reaches the sea or the valley floor. Here, the ice lets go. In a glacial lagoon, large blocks of ice gently break away. This is called calving. But tonight, imagine it in slow motion. A tower of white separates from the main wall. It slides seamlessly into the dark, cold water. It does not crash, it floats. It becomes an iceberg, drifting silently on the tide. The journey is complete. The snowflake that fell on the mountain peak, that was compressed into ice, that traveled for 1,000 years down the valley, has finally returned to the ocean. It melts. It becomes water again. It evaporates into mist. It rises to become a cloud. The cycle is perfect. It is unbroken. It is a slow, eternal wheel of nature that requires no effort from you. Now, bring your awareness back to your body. You are heavy. You are warm. Imagine that your body is the glacier. You are sinking into the mattress, just as the heavy ice settles into the valley floor. You are fully supported. The bed holds you up, just as the granite holds the ice. Feel the weight of your limbs. They are heavy, peaceful, and still. Your breath is the slow wind over the ice, in and out, steady and cool. Your heart beats with the slow rhythm of the geological clock. There is no rush. There is only the slide. You are moving towards sleep at a glacial pace, and that is exactly how it should be. Slow, steady, inevitable. The worries of the world are just dust on the surface of the ice. They are blown away by the wind. But deep down, in the core of who you are, there is only blue, silent stillness. You are ancient. You are vast. You are calm. Let the river of ice carry you. Let gravity take over. You don't have to move. You just have to flow.
Flow down the valley of the night. Flow into the dark, quiet ocean of sleep. Drifting, floating, sleeping. The paradox of the cold. We leave the slow, grinding majesty of the glaciers now. We drift away from the deep time of the ice and come forward, seeking a place to rest our heads. Imagine you are walking through a winter landscape at twilight. The wind has picked up. It bites at your cheeks, a sharp reminder of the power of the elements. The world around you is vast, open, and undeniably freezing. In such a landscape, the snow seems like the source of the cold. But tonight, we are going to explore a beautiful paradox. The snow is also the source of the warmth. For thousands of years, humans living in the farthest reaches of the north, the Inuit of the Arctic, the Athabascan peoples of the subarctic forests, have understood a secret that modern science has only confirmed. They knew that to survive the cold, you must embrace it. You must build with it. You are about to enter the architecture of warmth. You are about to step out of the wind and into the most silent, secure shelter mankind has ever devised. The science of insulation. Before we build our shelter, let us understand the comforting science behind it. It is a relaxing fact to hold in your mind. Snow is not a block of ice. It is a lattice of air. As we learned in the first chapter, a layer of snow is mostly trapped air pockets. In the world of thermodynamics, trapped air is the best insulator. It is the same principle as a down comforter or a thick wool sweater. The material itself doesn't generate heat. It simply refuses to let your own heat escape. When you are surrounded by compressed snow, you are essentially wrapped in a blanket made of ice crystals. The cold wind cannot penetrate it. The warmth of your body hits the wall and stays with you. It is nature's way of tucking you in. The masterpiece of the igloo. Let your imagination travel to the high Arctic. The landscape here is flat and treeless, a white ocean frozen in waves. Here, the Inuit developed the igloo, a marvel of engineering that rivals the stone arches of Rome. Picture a master builder at work. He does not use just any snow. He looks for wind-packed snow, snow that has been hardened by the gales until it is firm enough to walk on. It is strong, yet it can be cut. With a long knife made of bone or metal, he carves out blocks. These are not bricks like you would see in a house. They are curved, and the way he lays them is hypnotic. He does not stack them in straight rows. Instead, he builds a spiral. Visualize this spiral rising from the ground. It coils upward, gently leaning inward with each rotation. Because it is a continuous spiral, each block supports the next. It defies gravity. It creates a perfect dome, a catenary arch that is incredibly strong. A grown man could stand on the roof of a well-built igloo and it would not collapse. The tunnel and the trap. Now, imagine the structure is finished. From the outside, it looks like a small white hill, seamless with the landscape. To enter, you must get low. You crawl through a tunnel. This is the genius of the design. The entrance tunnel is dug lower than the floor of the main room. Cold air is heavy. It sinks.
Warm air is light. It rises. As you crawl through the low tunnel, the freezing air is trapped in the cold sink at the bottom. It cannot climb up into the living space. You climb up a small ledge to enter the main chamber, effectively rising above the cold. Inside the dome of light. Stand up now, inside the igloo. The transformation is instant. The howling wind you heard outside, gone. It has been replaced
by a silence so thick and profound it feels like a physical weight has been lifted from your shoulders. The wind cannot get in here. Inside, it is not dark. The snow walls are translucent. Even at night, the moonlight filters through the blocks, creating a soft, ethereal blue luminescence. The walls seem to glow from within. In the center of the room, there is a small stone lamp, the kudlik, burning seal oil or perhaps a single candle. The flame is small, yet its effect is miraculous. The heat from the flame and the body heat of the occupants rises. It hits the domed ceiling. It melts the inner surface of the snow just slightly, creating a thin layer of water. When the lamp is put out, that water refreezes into a smooth layer of ice. This ice reinforces the structure, making it airtight. It seals you in. Outside, the temperature might be 40 degrees below zero, but inside, with just a small lamp and body heat, the temperature can rise to a comfortable 60 degrees. Men and women could sit in their shirt sleeves, laughing, telling stories, completely protected by the very snow that covers the land. It is a womb of white, a circular sanctuary where the sharp angles of the world are rounded off and the cold is kept at bay. The forest sanctuary, the Hygge. Now let us travel south, down from the open tundra and into the deep, silent boreal forests of Canada and Alaska. Here, the snow is different. It is soft and powdery. You cannot cut blocks from it. Here, the indigenous peoples, like the Athabascan, built the Hygge. The construction of a Hygge is a lesson in patience. It requires waiting. It requires settling. Imagine finding a clearing in the pines. You begin to shovel the soft snow into a large pile. You make a mountain of white powder, 6, maybe 7 feet high, and then you stop. You must leave it alone. This is the most relaxing part of the process, the sintering. You have disturbed the snow crystals. Now they must rest. Over the course of a few hours, the disturbed crystals bond together. They knit themselves into a structure stronger than they were before. You cannot rush the snow. You must wait for it to settle. Once the time has passed, you burrow into the side of the mound. You dig out the center, hollowing out a cave. You push the snow out behind you until you have created a hollowed-out cloud. The feeling of the den. Crawling into a Hygge feels different than an igloo. It feels like entering the earth itself. The walls are not blocks. They are rough-hewn surfaces of sintered snow. The sound is even more dampened here. The forest outside is already quiet, but inside the mound, the silence is absolute. It taps into a primal memory. We are mammals, after all. Somewhere in our ancient brain, we remember what it was like to hibernate. We remember the safety of the den. There is a feeling of being hidden. The world does not know where you are. You are tucked away beneath the blanket of the forest floor. The floor of the shelter is often lined with evergreen boughs, spruce or balsam fir. Imagine the smell, the sharp, clean scent of pine needles mixing with the crisp scent of snow. It is the smell of winter health. You lie back on the boughs, insulated from the ground, looking up at the curved white ceiling of your shelter. The psychology of Hygge. This feeling, this contrast between the harshness outside and the safety inside, is the root of what the Danish call hygge, though the concept is universal. True relaxation requires a boundary. You cannot fully relax in an open field where you are exposed to everything. You relax when you are enclosed, when you are held. The snow shelter is the ultimate boundary. It is a thick, white line drawn between you and the elements. Think of the psychological comfort of that wall. On one side, the wind, the storm, the biting frost. On your side, the stillness, the warmth, the breath. The snow absorbs the anxiety. It absorbs the fear. It creates a space where the only thing that matters is the present moment, the warmth of your hands, the rhythm of your breathing, the soft glow of the light. Your own shelter. Now, as you lie in your own bed, imagine you are inside one of these shelters. You have built it with your own hands. It is strong. It is solid. Visualize the walls of your bedroom curving inward, becoming soft and white. The ceiling lowers, becoming a protective dome. You are safe inside. The blankets over you are the layers of snow, light but thick, trapping your warmth, keeping it close to your skin. The air in your room is cool, but your nest is warm. Feel the heavy, comforting silence of the snow pressing against the outside of your house. It is insulating you from the noise of the street, the noise of the world, the noise of tomorrow. Nothing can get in. The wind slides over the smooth dome of your shelter and moves on. It leaves you untouched. You are in the center of the spiral. You are in the heart of the mound. The light is dimming now. The candle flickers and goes out, leaving you in a comfortable velvety darkness. The temperature is perfect. The silence is perfect. You are safe in the architecture of the snow. Burrow down deeper. Let the warmth settle around you. Let the structure of the night hold you up. Sleep now in the safety of your winter den. A river of stone. We leave the quiet solitude of the snow caves now. We are traveling across the ocean, back to the old world. We are going to the city of London. But this is not the London of today, with its glass skyscrapers and rushing traffic. This is the London of the 17th century. It is the winter of 1683. The world is in the grip of what historians call the Little Ice Age. For decades, the winters have been longer, darker, and colder than anyone can remember. The sun is a pale coin in a white sky. And something miraculous has happened. The River Thames, the great gray artery of the city, has stopped moving. Because of the old London Bridge, a heavy stone structure with 19 narrow arches, the water could not flow freely. Blocks of ice from the country drifted down, got stuck between the stone piers, and acted like a dam. The flow slowed, the cold deepened, and slowly, silently, the river froze solid. It is now a highway of ice, 11 inches thick, stretching from bank to bank. The carnival on the water. Imagine standing on the banks at Westminster. Usually you would hear the lapping of water and the shouting of boatmen, but tonight you hear music.
You step off the cobblestones and onto the ice. You are walking on the river. The people of London have not hidden from the cold, they have moved onto it. They have built a temporary city on the frozen water. They call it the Frost Fair. 2 rows of tents stretch out before you, forming a main street that runs right down the center of the river. They call it Friesland Street. The tents are made of heavy canvas and sailcloth, lit from within by golden lanterns that sway gently in the breeze. The atmosphere is not one of fear, but of delight. It is a cozy, bustling festival. The ice is not slippery glass. It is covered in a layer of hard-packed snow, trampled by thousands of boots, making it easy to walk. The scent of the fair. As you walk down this frozen avenue, the first thing that hits you is the smell. It is the scent of warmth in a cold place. To your left, a massive fire is burning right on the ice. A whole ox is being roasted on a spit, turning slowly, the fat hissing as it drips onto the coals.
The smell of savory roasted meat mixes with the wood smoke, drifting through the crisp winter air. Merchants are selling hot codlins, plump apples roasted until they are soft and bursting, dusted with sugar and spices. You can smell the cinnamon and the nutmeg. Further down, there are stalls selling hot gingerbread, fresh from portable ovens. The steam rises from the cakes, curling up into the night. People are huddled around braziers, metal baskets full of glowing red coals. They warm their hands, their faces glowing orange in the firelight. They are drinking pearl, hot ale mixed with wormwood and gin, and steaming mugs of coffee. The sounds of joy. Listen to the sounds of the fair. The usual roar of the city is muffled by the snow, but here on the river there is a specific, happy acoustic. You hear the scratch, scratch, scratch of skates. In these days, skates are often made of polished animal bones strapped to boots. Children and adults alike are gliding in circles, laughing as they tumble and rise again. You hear the wooden clack of bowling pins. Men in heavy wool coats are playing 9-pin bowling, rolling wooden balls across the smooth lanes of ice. There are puppet shows with small wooden figures dancing on miniature stages, their high-pitched voices acting out old legends for wide-eyed children wrapped in furs. And there is the sound of the printing press. This is the ultimate souvenir. A printer has hauled his heavy iron press onto the ice. For 6 pence, he'll print a small card with your name and the date, followed by the words, "Printed on the River Thames." It is a token of proof that you were here, standing on the water, in this impossible winter. A royal visit. Imagine the excitement rippling through the crowd. King Charles II himself has come down from the palace. He is walking among his people, wrapped in velvet and fur. He too buys a piece of gingerbread. He too warms his hands at the fire. For a moment, the strict social rules of the land are forgotten. On the ice, everyone is equal. The river belongs to no one and everyone. The cold creates a strange, beautiful democracy of survival and joy. The comfort of the impossible. There is something deeply relaxing about the idea of the frost fair. It reminds us that even when the world freezes, life continues. It adapts. It finds a way to be warm. The structures around you, the tents, the fires, the booths, are temporary. They will only last as long as the frost. When the thaw comes, they will vanish, leaving no trace. But for now, they are solid. As you walk to the edge of the fair, away from the noise and the light, you look out toward the dark horizon. The river stretches away into the silence. The stars are bright and hard above the city. You feel the cold air on your cheeks, but your body is warm. You are wearing a heavy coat, a thick scarf, sturdy boots. You have eaten hot food. You are part of the crowd, yet safe in your own observation. Fading into history. Slowly, the lights of the fair begin to dim. The fires burn down to embers. The music fades. The crowds disperse, heading back to their warm beds on the shore. The river is empty again, just the wind, the ice, and the silent, sleeping city of London. The Great Frost Fair of 1684 is a memory now, a dream of a time when the world was slower, colder, and yet somehow warmer. Imagine yourself leaving the ice. You step back onto the shore. You climb into a warm bed, pulling the heavy quilts up to your chin. The river is still frozen. The ice is holding the city together. You are safe. The history holds you. The cold holds the world still. Sleep now, drifting on the slow, frozen tide of the Thames. The crossing. We leave the bustling, fire-lit crowds of the frozen River Thames behind us. The sounds of the frost fair fade into the distance, the laughter, the skates, the crackling fires. All of it dissolves into the mists of time. We are traveling west now. We are crossing the Atlantic Ocean, moving forward in time to the early 19th century. We are heading to the quiet, wooded corner of the world known as New England. Here, the winter is not a festival, it is a stillness. It is a deep, resonant pause in the life of the land. Imagine you are standing on the edge of a vast lake in Massachusetts. It might be Fresh Pond in Cambridge, or perhaps the famous Walden Pond in Concord. The year is 1830. The air is cleaner, sharper. It smells of pine needles, frozen earth, and the unique metallic scent of snow. Before you lies a miracle of nature, a sheet of ice, 18 inches thick, clear as glass, covering the water from shore to shore. It is a vast, horizontal window into the depths below. The vision of the Ice King. In this landscape, we meet a man named Frederick Tudor. History remembers him as the Ice King, but tonight, think of him as a harvester of winter. While others looked at the frozen ponds and saw only a long, harsh season to be endured, Frederick Tudor saw a crop. He looked at the ice and saw solid water. He saw a way to capture the peace and coolness of a New England January and save it. He realized that if you could cut this cold, preserve it, and keep it safe, you could bring a moment of winter to the sweltering heat of summer. He could bring a cool breeze to the fevered brow of the world. There is a deep comfort in this idea that the cold is not lost, it is gathered, it is saved for when we need it most. The preparation. Visualize the harvest beginning. It is early morning. The sun has not yet risen, but the sky is a pale, bruised purple. The lake is silent. Men and horses arrive at the edge of the pond. They move with a slow, practiced deliberation. There is no shouting here, only the soft snorting of the horses and the crunch of boots on the snow. First, they must clear the blanket. The snow that fell on top of the ice must be removed to stop the melting and to reveal the clear black ice beneath.
Imagine the sound of the scrapers. Shh. They push the snow aside, piling it into white drifts along the shoreline. As they work, the surface of the lake is revealed. It is a deep, dark blue, almost black, because it is so perfectly clear that you're looking straight down into the dormant water. It is like polishing a giant mirror. The geometry of the grid. Now comes the most satisfying part of the harvest, the marking. To cut the ice, it must be measured. A horse pulls a specialized tool called a marker across the smooth surface. It looks like a plow with a single iron tooth. Scritch, scritch. The iron tooth carves a straight, shallow groove into the ice. The horse walks a straight line, guided by the steady hand of the driver. Then they turn. They come back the other way. The marker has a guide that fits into the first groove, ensuring the second line is perfectly parallel to the first. They move back and forth, turning the chaotic expanse of the lake into a sheet of lined paper. Then they turn the horse 90 degrees. They cross the lines. Watch the geometry unfold in your mind. A perfect checkerboard is being drawn on the surface of the lake. Thousands of perfect 22-inch squares. It is bringing order to the wild. It is a soothing, repetitive pattern, extending as far as the eye can see. The rhythm of the saw. Now the cutting begins. The men step out onto the grid with long, heavy saws. These are not power tools. They are hand tools made of iron. The motion is vertical, down and up, down and up. It is a rhythmic dance. The weight of the saw does the work on the downstroke. Gravity pulls the teeth through the crystal. On the upstroke, the harvester simply lifts. Rasp, slide, rasp, slide. It is a hypnotic sound, muffled by the surrounding forest.
There's no vibration, no engine noise, just the human heartbeat and the steel singing through the ice. They do not cut all the way through, not yet. They leave a few inches at the bottom to keep the raft together. The breaking and the float. Once the grid is sawed, a man with a heavy iron bar, a breaking bar, steps forward. He finds the groove. He gives a gentle, firm tap. Crack. The sound is sharp and clean, like a dry twig snapping. The block separates perfectly from the sheet. Now the block is floating free. It is a cube of pure crystal, weighing nearly 300 pounds, bobbing gently in the dark water. This leads to the most relaxing visual of the harvest, the canal. The harvesters open a channel of water leading to the shore. Using long wooden pikes with metal tips, they guide the blocks through the dark water. Imagine you are watching from the bank, a parade of ice blocks glistening in the morning sun, floating silently in a single-file line. They glide through the black water like little boats. There is no friction. They just drift. The men gently push them along, tap, glide, steering them toward the conveyor belt that will lift them from the water. The architecture of preservation. Here we return to the science of insulation. Frederick Tudor discovered that the secret to keeping ice was to bury it. The interior of the ice house is filled with sawdust, pine sawdust, fragrant, dry, and soft. The ice is slid into the house. It is stacked like bricks, wall to wall, floor to ceiling. But between every layer and around the entire perimeter, the men pack the sawdust. The ice is tucked in. It is buried in a foot of wood shavings. The sawdust traps the air and blocks the heat. A block of ice harvested in January, tucked into its bed of sawdust, can sleep there for months. It can sleep through the spring rains. It can sleep through the heat of July. Inside the ice house,
A global journey. Let your mind wander to where this ice will go. This is the romance of the Tudor ice trade. These blocks, cut from the quiet silence of a New England pond, will travel the world. They will be loaded onto wooden ships. They will cross the equator. Imagine a block of Walden Pond ice melting slowly in a glass of lemonade in Havana, Cuba. Imagine a sliver of Massachusetts winter cooling a drink in Bombay, India. Imagine the ice traveling to Charleston, Savannah, New Orleans. It is a beautiful connection, the cold of the north bringing relief to the heat of the south. The ice does not just disappear, it transforms. It gives its life to bring comfort. You are the crystal. Now, bring the focus back to yourself. Imagine that you are one of those blocks of ice. You are not cold, you are simply cool. You are solid, you are clear. You have been floating in the dark, quiet water, weightless and supported. Now you have been lifted out. You are being moved to a place of safety. You are in the ice house. The air around you is still. It smells of fresh pine sawdust. It is dark. You feel the soft, dry shavings being packed around you. They are like a heavy quilt. They are protecting you from the outside world. They are muffling the sound, blocking the light, keeping the temperature perfect. You are preserved. You are safe. There is nothing to do here but rest. The winter has been harvested and the work is done. The tools have been put away. The horses have gone back to the barn. The lake has frozen over again, sealing the water below. You are suspended in the amber darkness of the sawdust, cool, still, protected. Let the image of the clear blue block of ice settle in your mind, a perfect square of peace. Sleep now in the cool, quiet heart of the harvest.
the clarity of the air. We step away from the sawdust and the timber of the ice house now. We leave behind the dark, preserved winter of the indoors and step back out into the light. But this is not the light of a summer noon. It is the low, slanted, golden light of deep winter. We are traveling to the coldest places on Earth, perhaps the high plateau of Antarctica, or the frozen plains of North Dakota, or the vast white expanse of the Canadian Shield. The air here is different. It is not just cold, it is absolute. The temperature has dropped so low, 20, 30, perhaps 40 degrees below zero, that the moisture in the air can no longer remain invisible. The air itself begins to freeze. This creates one of the most beautiful and relaxing phenomena in the natural world. It is a weather event that is not a storm, but a suspension. It is a moment where the atmosphere turns into a jewel box. The phenomenon of diamond dust. Imagine standing in a wide open field. The sky above is a piercing, perfect blue. There are no clouds. The sun is shining brightly, and yet the air around you is sparkling. It looks as if someone has shaken a canister of silver glitter into the atmosphere. Tiny floating sparks of light are drifting slowly toward the ground. Meteorologists call this diamond dust. Unlike snow, which falls from clouds high above, diamond dust forms right near the ground. It happens when the air is so clear and so cold that water vapor condenses directly into tiny ice crystals. These are not the large, complex fern-like snowflakes we looked at under Wilson Bentley's microscope. These are simple. They are tiny hexagonal plates. They are flat, six-sided prisms, lighter than a feather, lighter than a breath. Because they are so light, they do not fall quickly. They float. They hover in the air, suspended by the slightest resistance. Imagine walking through this. You are walking through a cloud that is touching the ground, but it is not a fog that obscures your vision. It is a mist of diamonds. Every time you move your head, the crystals catch the sunlight and flash, a tiny microscopic wink of red, then green, then blue. It is a silent firework display happening right in front of your eyes, arm's length away. The geometry of light. As we stand in this glittering dust, we witness the magic of optics. This is the soothing science of refraction. Nature loves geometry. It loves order. These billions of tiny hexagonal ice crystals are acting like miniature prisms. As they drift down through the atmosphere, they tend to align themselves horizontally, flat against the air resistance, like tiny leaves falling on a calm day.
When the sunlight hits these flat, aligned crystals, it is bent, it is split, and this bending of light creates halos. It is a comforting thought. Even in the chaos of the atmosphere, there are strict rules of physics that create beauty. The light always bends at a specific angle, 22 degrees. It is a universal constant. The guardians of the sun, sun dogs. Look toward the horizon now. The sun is low, hanging just above the white earth. But the sun is not alone. To the left of the sun and to the right of the sun, exactly 22 degrees away, there are two spots of bright light. They look like ghosts of the sun. They are mock suns. In science, they are called parhelia. In folklore, they are known as sun dogs. They are loyal companions to the sun, walking with it across the cold sky. They are not as bright as the sun itself. They are softer. They are painted with the colors of the rainbow, but pastel. The side facing the sun is a soft, warm red. Then it fades into orange, then a pale yellow, and finally, a tail of white blue stretches out away from the sun.
It is a celestial trinity, 3 suns in a cold sky. There is a deep serenity in watching them. They do not move quickly. They drift as the sun drifts. They are a sign of stability. For centuries, farmers and sailors looked at sundogs and knew that the weather was changing, but for now the air was still. To see a sundog, the air must be calm. If there was wind, the crystals would scramble and the image would disappear. So the presence of these lights is visual proof that the world is quiet. The halo and the arc. Sometimes, if the diamond dust is high enough, the 2 sundogs connect. A perfect ring of light forms around the sun. This is the 22-degree halo. It looks like a wedding band in the sky, a circle of pale fire. It encompasses the sun, holding it in a protective embrace. And above that, you might see the circumzenithal arc. It is often called a smile in the sky. It is an upside-down rainbow, its colors purer and brighter than any rainbow. It hangs high in the zenith, a curve of pure spectral color painted on the canvas of the blue sky. These are the mirages of the cold. They are not illusions, they are real interactions of light and ice, but they feel like dreams. They make the harsh, freezing landscape feel magical, like a kingdom made of glass and light. The pillars of light. Now the day begins to fade. The sun dips below the horizon. The sky turns a deep indigo violet. The sundogs fade away as their source of light vanishes, but the diamond dust is still falling. The air is still filled with those flat, floating mirrors. As the twilight deepens, a new phenomenon appears, light pillars. Imagine looking at the streetlights of a distant town, or perhaps the moon rising in the east. Instead of just seeing a round point of light, you see a tall, vertical column stretching upward from the ground to the sky. It looks as if beams of light are being projected up from the earth. This happens because the flat ice crystals are acting like millions of tiny mirrors. They are reflecting the light source towards your eyes. These pillars are ghostly. They can be white or orange or yellow, depending on the light they are reflecting. They stand like tall, silent sentinels on the horizon, a forest of light. They do not flicker. They are steady. They bridge the gap between the earth and the heavens. The sound of the sparkle. There is a sound associated with this level of cold, though it is on the very edge of hearing. When the temperature drops this low and your breath plumes out in thick white clouds, the acoustics change.
The air is denser. Some say that if you stand perfectly still in a field of diamond dust, you can hear the crystals settling. It is a sound like the tinkling of very distant, very tiny bells, or the sound of static electricity. Hiss, click, hiss. It is the sound of the atmosphere freezing, but mostly it is the sound of silence. The extreme cold freezes movement. The birds are roosting, the rivers are locked in ice, the sap in the trees is still. The only thing moving is the light. Drifting into the spectrum. As you lie in your bed, imagine that the air in your room is transforming. It is not cold, but it is clear. Imagine that the heavy, humid air of the day is being replaced by this crisp, clean, diamond air. Visualize the dust of your thoughts turning into diamond dust. The worries that have been swirling around your mind, imagine them freezing. Imagine them turning into tiny, harmless crystals. They are no longer heavy. They are light. They are floating. Watch them drift down, twinkling as they go. You are floating in this glittering mist. The light is soft and pastel, gentle reds, soft blues, pale yellows. It is not a bright light that keeps you awake. It is a mesmerizing light that draws you in. The sundogs are guarding your sleep, one on the left, one on the right. They are steady. They are watching over the horizon of your consciousness. The pillars of light are anchoring you to the earth, grounding you, even as you float. The fading light. The sun has set completely now. The indigo sky turns to black. The colors fade. The rainbow of the sundog dissolves into the gray of the evening. The diamond dust continues to fall, but now it is invisible. It is just a gentle, unseen settling. The world is wrapped in a blanket of stars above and a blanket of crystal dust below. Everything is refracting. Everything is reflecting. Everything is slowing down. The visual show is over. The curtain of the night has fallen. Your eyes feel heavy, just like the crystals. They want to close. They want to rest. Let the afterimage of the halo linger behind your eyelids, a perfect circle of peace. Sleep now in the crystal clear air of the night. The descent to earth. The diamond dust has settled. The pillars of light have faded into the velvet darkness of the night sky. We leave the open, frozen plains and the ethereal displays of the atmosphere, and we seek shelter. We are entering the woods. Imagine a vast, ancient forest stretching across the northern hemisphere like a green crown. This is the boreal forest, the taiga. It is a world of spruce, fir, and pine, their dark green needles contrasting sharply with the white snow. Here, the snow is not a dusting, it is a landscape. It is deep, 3, 4, 5 feet of heavy, compacted powder. It lies heavy on the boughs of the trees, bending them downward in a gesture of rest. The trees look like monks in white robes, standing in silent prayer. It is quiet here. The wind that howls on the open tundra is broken by the millions of trees. In the heart of the forest, the air is still. The great hush. To walk here would be to walk in a soundproof room, but we are not walking tonight. We are observing the stillness from a place of deep comfort. There is a misconception that winter is a time of death for the forest. It is not. It is a time of pause. It is a time of conservation. The forest is not dead. It is merely holding its breath. Tonight, we are going to explore the concept of dormancy. It is one of the soothing words in the English language. It comes from the Latin word dormire, meaning to sleep. The entire ecosystem has agreed to stop, to wait, to rest. The secret world, the subnivean zone. Let us look down at the snow beneath the trees. It looks like a flat, unbroken white sheet, but underneath that surface, there is a secret world. Scientists call this the subnivean zone, sub meaning under, and nivea meaning snow. Remember the heat of the earth? The ground itself holds the warmth of the past summer. When the deep snow falls, it traps that geothermal heat rising from the soil. If you were to shrink down and travel beneath the snowpack, you would not find a wasteland. You would find a humid, stable environment. While the air above the snow might be 30 degrees below zero, the temperature down here, right against the earth, stays just around freezing, 32 degrees. It is a microclimate of safety. Down here in the dim blue light of the filtered snow, life continues. There is a network of tunnels. Voles and shrews, tiny creatures of the forest, have built a highway system through the grass and moss. Imagine the coziness of this. They're scurrying along their little crystal corridors, completely protected from the biting wind above. They are safe from the owl and the hawk. They have a roof of snow that keeps them warm. It is a hidden, bustling city wrapped in white cotton.
The deep sleepers, the black bear. But we are looking for a deeper sleep than the mouse. We are looking for the masters of hibernation. Let your mind wander to the base of a massive, overturned cedar tree. The roots have pulled up a mound of earth, creating a natural hollow, or perhaps a small cave in the rocky hillside. Inside, curled into a tight ball, is the American black bear. The bear is the ultimate symbol of winter relaxation. In the autumn, the bear felt the days getting shorter. It felt the temperature drop, and it listened to the wisdom of its own body. It did not fight the winter, it prepared for it. The bear has eaten its fill. It has built a layer of warmth, and now it has entered the den. The bear has not just gone to sleep, it has shifted its existence. It has entered a state of torpor. The physiology of slowing down. Think of the bear's heart. In the summer, as it roamed the forest, its heart beat 40 or 50 times a minute. It was active, it was alert. But now, in the dark safety of the den, that heartbeat has slowed. Thump, thump, thump. It drops to 8 beats per minute. Imagine that rhythm. 1 beat, and then a long, luxurious pause, and then another. The bear's breathing slows to match. 1 breath every 45 seconds. The metabolic fire is turned down to a pilot light. The body temperature drops just a few degrees, enough to save energy, but not enough to freeze. The bear does not eat, it does not drink, it simply exists. It relies entirely on the resources it has stored within itself. There is a profound trust in this process. The bear trusts that it has enough. It trusts that the spring will come. It does not worry about tomorrow. For 5 months, the bear is safe in the womb of the earth, insulated by the snow, dreaming the long, slow dreams of winter. The miracle of the wood frog. Let us go deeper into the leaf litter, under the snow, to find an even more miraculous sleeper. There is a tiny creature here called the wood frog. Its sleep is so deep it blurs the line between biology and magic. When the frost touches the wood frog, it does not hide deep underground. It nestles into the leaves, and then it allows the cold to enter its body. The frog has a special adaptation, a high concentration of glucose in its blood. This acts like a natural antifreeze for its vital organs. But the rest of the frog, it freezes. It becomes a little sculpture of ice. Its heart stops beating completely. Its lungs stop breathing. Its brain activity ceases. If you were to pick it up, it would feel like a hard, cold stone. It is in suspended animation. It has hit the ultimate pause button. It is waiting. It is not struggling against the harshness of the world. It has become one with it. It surrenders completely. And when the warm rains of April seep down through the melting snow, the frog will thaw. The heart will kickstart, thump thump, and it will hop away as if nothing happened. But for now, it is part of the stillness. It is a monument to the ability of nature to simply stop and wait. The slumber of the trees. Even the giants around us are sleeping. Look at the towering spruce trees. They do not have heartbeats, but they have a rhythm. In the summer, their sap, the lifeblood of the tree, rushes from the roots to the needles, carrying water and sugar. It is a high-pressure highway. But in winter, the pressure drops. The tree withdraws. The sap moves down. It settles in the roots, deep in the insulated ground. The fluids within the cells of the tree turn to a glass-like state to prevent crystallization. The tree stands rigid and still. It is not growing. It is not reaching. It is simply standing. There is a dignity in this standing sleep. The tree bears the weight of the snow on its shoulders without complaint. It knows that the weight will eventually melt. Becoming the forest. Now bring the feeling of the boreal forest into your own body. You are no longer in your bed, you are in the den. The blankets over you are the layers of snow. They are heavy, white, and protective. They have created a sub-Nivean zone just for you, a warm, safe pocket of air that belongs only to you. The world outside is cold and windy, but that does not matter. It cannot reach you. You are under the root ball. You are under the snowpack. Think of the bear's heart. Thump, thump. Can you slow your own heart to match the forest? You don't have to force it. Just watch it. Let it find the rhythm of the winter. You don't need to be active now. You don't need to hunt or gather or plan. You have done enough. Think of the wood frog, the ability to be completely still, to turn off the mind, to stop the buzzing of thoughts. Surrender to the pause. The darkness of your room is the darkness of the forest floor. It is a rich, nurturing darkness. It is the color of rest. The long wait. The forest does not count the hours. It does not count the minutes. It thinks in seasons. You have nowhere to be until the spring. The snow is piling up outside, inch by inch, foot by foot, adding more insulation, more silence, more safety. The deeper the snow, the safer the den. Feel the earth holding you up. Feel the roots of the ancient trees guarding your sleep. Feel the stillness of the sap. Feel the slow, heavy, warm drift of the bear. You are part of the ecosystem of sleep. You are safe in the deep slumber of the north. Drift down into the leaves. Drift down into the moss. Drift down into the dark. The ocean of silence. We leave the sheltered warmth of the bear's den and the deep snow of the forest floor. We are traveling further now, moving to the edge of the world where the land ends and the sea begins. Imagine you are standing on the deck of a sturdy ship. The water around you is calm, a sheet of dark, polished glass reflecting the stars. The air is crisp and smells of salt and eternity. We are in the high latitudes, perhaps off the coast of Greenland, or drifting in the quiet waters of the Antarctic Sound. Ahead of us, rising from the mist, is a shape. It is massive. It is a floating mountain, a cathedral of nature that has broken free from the land and is taking a long, slow journey across the ocean.
It is an iceberg. Usually, when we think of ice, we think of white. But tonight, as our ship drifts closer, cutting the engines to glide in silence, we see something else. We see the true color of the cold. The revelation of blue. The sun begins to rise, a pale disk on the horizon. As the light hits the side of the iceberg, you gasp softly. The ice is not white, it is blue. It is not a painted blue, it is a blue that seems to come from within, a glowing electric luminescence that radiates out from the heart of the ice. It is the color of a sapphire lit by a candle. It is the color of the deepest ocean trench. It is the color of the twilight sky. This is glacier blue. And the science behind this color is one of the most relaxing facts in the natural world, for it is a story of purification. The physics of light and time. To understand this blue, we must return to the snowflake. Remember how the fresh snow on your windowsill is white? That is because it is full of air. The light hits the snow and bounces off the millions of tiny surfaces, reflecting the full spectrum back to your eye. White is the color of reflection. But the iceberg is different. This ice was formed thousands of years ago. It was buried under miles of other snowflakes. Imagine the weight. The colossal, crushing weight of the glacier
pressing down. Over centuries, this pressure squeezed the ice. It pushed the snowflakes together, crushing their delicate arms, welding them into a solid block. It squeezed out the air bubbles. It made the ice dense. As the ice becomes denser, its relationship with light changes. It stops reflecting and starts absorbing. When a ray of sunlight hits this dense, ancient ice, the ice acts like a filter. The chemical bond of the water molecules absorbs the red and yellow wavelengths of light, the low-energy waves. But the blue light, the high-energy, short waves, the ice cannot hold them. The blue light is scattered. It bounces around inside the crystal lattice of the ice, traveling deep into the heart of the iceberg and then shining back out to your eye. So, when you look at that deep indigo wall of ice, you are not seeing a pigment. You are seeing the result of time. You are seeing thousands of years of pressure that have squeezed out the gray, squeezed out the white, and left only the purest, deepest blue. The breath of the ancients. Now let us drift closer. The water laps gently against the hull of the ship. Slosh, hush, slosh, hush. If you lean over the rail and listen, you might hear the iceberg speaking. It is a faint sound, a popping, a crackling, a delicate fizz like milk being poured over cereal or a glass of champagne settling. Scientists call this Bergy seltzer. It is the sound of history being released. Trapped inside that blue ice are tiny microscopic bubbles. These are not ordinary bubbles. This is fossil air. These bubbles were trapped when the snow first fell 10,000, 20,000, or even 50,000 years ago. Inside that tiny sphere of gas is the atmosphere of the past. It is the air that woolly mammoths breathed. It is the air that filled the sky before the pyramids were built, before cities existed, before the noise of the modern world began. The ice has protected it. It has carried this tiny sample of the ancient world through the centuries, safe in its blue heart. And now, as the iceberg melts slowly in the ocean, the bubble wall thins. Pop! The ancient air is released. It joins the air of today. It is a merging of timelines, the breath of the past mixing with the breath of the present.
There is a profound comfort in this. It reminds us that air is a cycle. We are breathing the same air that has always been here. The world recycles everything. Nothing is lost. The hidden bulk. We know the saying, just the tip of the iceberg, but visualize what that really means. Look at the tower of blue ice rising 50 feet above the water. It is majestic, but beneath the surface, down in the dark, cold water, lies the true giant. 90% of the iceberg is underwater. Imagine diving down, safe, warm, and able to breathe, into the water. You look at the keel of the iceberg. It extends down hundreds of feet. It is a mountain of smooth, sculpted glass. Down here, the light filters through the water and the ice, turning everything into a dreamscape of turquoise and navy. The shapes are softer underwater. The water has melted the sharp edges, creating scallops and curves that look like the dimples on a golf ball, only 5 feet wide. It is silent down here. The waves do not reach this deep. The storms do not disturb the keel. The iceberg is stable. It is heavy. It is balanced. Even if the waves toss the ship on the surface, the iceberg barely moves. Its mass is so great, its center of gravity so deep, that it rides the ocean with a slow, ponderous dignity. It is the definition of grounded, even while it floats. The sculpture of the sea. As the iceberg travels, the sea sculpts it. Warm water eats away at the waterline, creating arches and caves. Imagine a bridge of ice, glowing aquamarine, spanning 2 towers of white. Imagine a cave, its ceiling dripping with meltwater, glowing with an internal blue light so intense it looks like a neon sign. These sculptures are temporary. They will last for a week or a month, and then they will collapse and return to the water. But the iceberg does not mourn the loss of its shape. It accepts the change. It is constantly becoming something new. It was a cloud, then it was snow, then it was a glacier. Now it is an iceberg. Soon it will be the ocean. Then it will be mist. Then it will be a cloud again. It is the great, slow blue wheel of existence. The internal glow. Bring your attention back to the color. Close your eyes and visualize that blue. It is cool, but not cold. It is a color that calms the nervous system. Studies show that blue light slows the heart rate. It lowers blood pressure. It signals the brain that it is time to rest. Imagine that your mind is filled with this glacier blue light. It is a thick, viscous light. It fills the space behind your eyes. It washes over your thoughts. Your thoughts are like the red and yellow wavelengths, the busy, high-energy noise of the day. The blue ice of your mind absorbs them. It filters them out. It leaves only the cool, calm blue of peace. Drifting on the current. Now, imagine that you are the iceberg. You are floating in a vast, warm ocean of blankets. Most of you, your heavy body, your tired muscles, is sunk deep into the mattress. You are 90% submerged in comfort. You are supported by the bed, just as the ice is supported by the sea. You do not have to hold yourself up. The water does the work. The bed does the work. You are heavy. You are dense. You are calm. Feel the slow current of the night carrying you. You are drifting. There is no engine, no rudder, no destination. You are simply moving with the flow of time. Listen for the tiny pop of the tension leaving your body. Fizz, pop, release. The bubbles of worry are breaking and floating away. The ancient stress is evaporating. You are left with the silence. You are left with the blue. The water is rocking you gently, up and down, slow and steady. The blue light is dimming now, turning to a deep, comfortable indigo, and then to the soothing black of the deep ocean. You are a giant of the sea, silent, ancient, at peace. Drift, float, sink deep. Sleep now in the blue heart of the night. The journey inward. We leave the vast open ocean now. We leave the towering blue icebergs drifting in the silence of the sea. We turn our backs on the raw, uncontainable power of nature and head toward the shore. We are traveling to northern Europe, to the snow-dusted lands of Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. We are entering the region of the polar night. Here, in the depths of winter, the sun is a shy visitor. It rises late, hangs low on the horizon for a few short hours, and dips back down, leaving the land wrapped in a long twilight embrace. In these lands, where the darkness is long and the cold is biting, the people did not fight the winter. Instead, they invented a way to survive it with joy. They created a concept that has no direct translation in English, but which the heart understands perfectly. They created Hygge, the light in the window. Imagine you're walking down a cobblestone street in a small village. The snow is falling softly, large flakes drifting down through the pools of light cast by the street lamps. The air is freezing. It nips at your nose and cheeks. You can hear the wind whistling through the eaves of the roofs, a high, lonely sound. But you are not lonely. You are walking toward a house at the end of the lane. It is a small wooden cottage painted a deep falu red, or perhaps a sunny yellow. The roof is thick with snow, looking like a layer of white icing on a gingerbread house. But what draws your eye are the windows. In every window there is a light. Not the harsh, blue-white glare of a television or a fluorescent bulb. It is a soft, flickering amber glow. It is the light of a candle. It is the light of a fire. It is a beacon. It signals to the traveler and to the soul that here, inside, there is life. Here, there is warmth. The threshold of warmth. You reach the heavy wooden door. You turn the iron handle. You step inside and close the door behind you. Click. The lock slides into place. The wind is instantly silenced. The cold is cut off. You are engulfed in a wave of warmth. It is a physical sensation, like a heavy, soft blanket being wrapped around your shoulders. You smell the scent of birchwood burning, the faint sweetness of dried orange peel, and the clean, comforting smell of wool. You stamp the snow off your boots. You hang your heavy coat on a peg. You take off your scarf. You have crossed the threshold. You have moved from the out to the in. This transition is the heart of Hygge. It is the art of contrast. The warmth feels sweeter because you know the cold exists just on the other side of that door. The silence feels deeper because you know the wind is howling outside. The hearth, the altar of winter. You move into the living room. The center of this room, the center of the entire home, is the hearth. In the old days, the fire was a matter of survival. Tonight, it is a matter of comfort. Visualize a large cast iron wood stove, or perhaps a grand open fireplace made of stone. Inside, a fire is roaring. Take a moment to watch the flames. Fire is living television. It is ancient entertainment. The flames dance and weave, never repeating the same movement twice. They are orange, gold, red, and blue at the base. Listen to the sound. Crackle, pop, hiss. It is a rhythmic, percussive sound. The wood is surrendering its energy. It is releasing the heat of the summer sun that it stored decades ago. There is a pile of logs next to the stove, birch logs with their white, papery bark. They are dry and ready. There is a sense of abundance. You have enough wood. You have enough heat. You are prepared. The concept of the nook. In the Danish tradition, every home needs a Hygge krog, a cozy nook. Imagine a window seat or a large, overstuffed armchair tucked into the corner of the room, close to the fire, but not too close. This is your space.
You sit down. The chair is soft, worn in just the right places. It holds you. You are not just sitting, you are nesting. There are blankets everywhere, heavy knitted wool blankets in shades of oatmeal and gray. There are sheepskins draped over the backs of chairs, their textures soft and deep. You pull a blanket up over your legs. You tuck it around your feet. You are creating a cocoon within a cocoon. The house protects you from the storm, and the blanket protects you from the room. The living light. Look around the room. The electric lights are turned off or dimmed very low. The room is lit almost entirely by leven de lis, living light. Candles are everywhere. There are tall white tapers in brass candlesticks on the mantel. There are small tea lights in glass votives on the table. The light they cast is special. It is soft. It is forgiving. It does not reach into the corners of the room. It leaves the shadows alone. It creates a small, intimate circle of visibility. This low light tells your brain that the day is over. The work is done. There is nothing left to inspect, nothing left to clean, nothing left to fix. The flickering of the candlelight mimics the rhythm of a slow heartbeat. It is hypnotic. It draws your eyes, and then your eyelids begin to feel heavy. The taste of comfort. In this sanctuary, there is also warmth for the body. Imagine holding a ceramic mug in your hands. It is heavy and warm. Inside is glögg, mulled wine, or perhaps a rich hot chocolate with a dash of cinnamon. You can feel the heat of the mug transferring into your palms. It travels up your wrists, warming your blood. You lift the cup and inhale the steam. It smells of spices, clove, cardamom, ginger. You take a sip. The liquid is hot, sweet, and grounding. It warms you from the inside out. This is a key part of the tradition, treating yourself gently. Winter is not a time for denial. It is a time for nourishment. It is a time for cake, for warm bread, for soothing drinks. It is permission to be comfortable. The safety of the storm. Now listen to the outside world again. The wind has picked up. You can hear it buffeting against the walls of the cottage. You might hear the rattle of a window pane or the soft thud of snow falling from a branch onto the roof. In any other context, this sound might be frightening, but here, inside the fortress of Hygge, it is the most relaxing sound in the world. It emphasizes your safety. It is like being in a ship that cannot sink. The storm rages, but you are dry. The wind howls, but you are warm. This is the psychological comfort of the bunker. The worse the weather gets outside, the cozier it feels inside. You are separated from the chaos by thick walls, double-paned glass, and the elemental force of the fire. You are untouchable. The social silence. Often, Hygge is enjoyed with friends, a quiet dinner, low voices, laughter. But tonight, in this sleep story, you are enjoying solitary Hygge. Or perhaps imagine the presence of a sleeping pet, a large dog sleeping on the rug in front of the fire, twitching its paws in a dream, or a cat curled into a perfect circle on the armchair opposite you, purring. The purr of a cat or the slow breathing of a dog adds another layer to the silence. It is a companionable silence. You are not alone, but you are not required to speak. You can simply be. The textile embrace. Focus on the sensation of the materials around you. Hygge is very tactile. It is about texture. Feel the wool of the socks on your feet, thick, hand-knitted, perhaps a bit scratchy, but incredibly warm. Feel the softness of the flannel pajamas you are wearing. Feel the weight of the quilt. These textures are grounding. They bring your attention out of your head and into your body. They remind you that you are a physical being, and right now, your physical being is perfectly comfortable. The fading of the fire. The evening wears on. The fire burns down. The tall flames have settled into a bed of glowing red coals. The crackling sound has softened to a gentle whisper. The light in the room shifts from bright orange to a deep, drowsy amber. The heat is still radiating from the cast iron of the stove, a steady, solid wave of warmth. You feel heavy. The food, the drink, the warmth, the silence, it all combines to pull you down. You are no longer looking at the fire. You are gazing past it. Your eyes are unfocused. Carrying the warmth to bed. In your imagination, you rise from the nook. You leave the dying embers of the fire safely contained in the stove. You walk to the bedroom. Ideally, in the Nordic tradition, the bedroom is cool, but the bed is warm. You climb under the duvet. Nordic duvets are famous, thick, filled with down, impossibly fluffy. When you lie down, the duvet puffs up around you.
It settles over you like a cloud. You pull it up to your chin, burying your face in the cool, crisp cotton of the pillowcase, while your body stays toasty warm beneath the feathers. You are back in your own bed now. But you have brought the Hygge with you. You have the inner warmth. You have the sense of safety. You have the knowledge that the door is locked and the storm is outside. The candle is blown out. A thin ribbon of smoke drifts up in the dark room, carrying the scent of peace. The darkness is not empty. It is velvety. It is a blanket. You are safe in the winter of the north. You are warm in the heart of the home. Sleep now. The step into the infinite. You are warm. You are safe. You have rested by the fire and felt the heavy, comforting weight of the wool blankets. But now, in the theater of your mind, a summons comes from the sky. Imagine stepping out of the small Nordic cottage one last time. You are wrapped in layers of fur and down, so the cold cannot touch you. You step out into the snowy clearing. The air is still. The wind has died down completely. The silence is absolute. We are far north, above the Arctic Circle, perhaps in Lapland or the Yukon or the icy coast of Iceland. The night here is not just dark, it is deep. It is a velvet void that stretches on forever. You look up. The stars are there, sharp and hard like diamonds scattered on black granite. The Milky Way is a river of spilled milk. But tonight, the stars are merely the backdrop. Tonight, the sky is awake. The breath of the sun. Before we see the lights, let us understand the comforting science of their origin. What you are about to witness is a cosmic connection. 93 million miles away, the sun is breathing. It sends out a stream of particles, the solar wind. These particles travel across the vast, empty ocean of space. They rush toward the Earth. But our planet is protected. We are surrounded by a magnetic field, an invisible shield that arcs out from the poles into space. When the solar wind hits this shield, it is guided gently down toward the north and south poles. It is a protective embrace. The Earth catches the energy of the sun and transforms it. When these particles hit the gases in our upper atmosphere, they glow, they become neon, they become magic. It is a relaxing thought. The most beautiful sight on Earth is actually a visual representation of the planet protecting us. The lights are the shield in action. The first glimmer. Watch the horizon. At first, it looks like a pale green mist. You might mistake it for a cloud, illuminated by a distant moon. But then, it moves. It is not the chaotic movement of wind. It is a slow, liquid unfurling. A ribbon of pale emerald green detaches itself from the horizon. It rises slowly, climbing the ladder of the stars. It is silent. It is ghostly. It pulses gently like a breathing chest. This is the aurora borealis, the dawn of the north. The dance of the spirits. As you watch, the light strengthens. The pale mist sharpens into an intense, glowing green band. It begins to dance. Imagine a giant, invisible hand running along the keyboard of the sky. As the hand moves, the light ripples. It folds over on itself. It looks like a curtain of heavy silk hanging from the heavens, blowing in a slow-motion breeze. The bottom of the curtain is sharp and bright. The top fades upward into the darkness, reaching for the stars. The movement is hypnotic. It swirls, it spirals. It creates loops and knots that untie themselves as quickly as they form. It is the most fluid thing in the universe. It defies gravity. It flows like water, but it hangs in the air. The palette of the atmosphere. The colors begin to shift. Green is the color of oxygen, low down in the atmosphere. It is the color of the heart chakra, the color of healing, the color of nature. It is the most soothing color to the human eye. But tonight, the solar wind is strong. The lights reach higher. Above the green, a fringe of violet appears, then a wash of deep crimson red. These are the rare colors. The red comes from oxygen high up, on the very edge of space, where the air is thin and the vacuum begins. The purple comes from nitrogen. The sky becomes a painting in motion. Ribbons of pink and violet twist around columns of green. They merge and separate. They chase each other across the zenith. The myths of the lights. For thousands of years, people have stood exactly where you are standing, looking up in awe. They did not know about solar winds or magnetic fields. They saw spirits. In Finland, they call the lights revontulet, which means foxfires. Imagine a giant celestial fox running across the snowy peaks of the sky. As it runs, its great bushy tail brushes against the mountains. Sparks fly up, sparks of green and red, and light up the night. The visual is playful and comforting. The universe is not empty, it is inhabited by magic. In other cultures, the lights were seen as a bridge, the Bifrost, a burning, shimmering road that connected the land of the mortals to the land of the gods. Or they were seen as the spirits of the ancestors, dancing. The Cree people believed the lights were the spirits of family members who had passed on, lighting great torches to guide the living. They are watching over you. They are signaling that you are not alone in the dark. The sound of silence. There is a long-standing debate among explorers about the sound of the aurora. Some swear they can hear it. They describe a faint rustling, a static hiss, a sound like silk rubbing against silk, or bacon frying in a distant pan. Swish, crackle, hush. Whether the sound is real or imagined, the effect is the same. It emphasizes the silence of the snow. The spectacle is so massive, covering the entire dome of the sky from east to west, that your brain expects a roar. It expects the sound of a thunderclap or a jet engine. But there is nothing. The lights explode in silence. The ribbons crash together without a sound. This loud silence is incredibly heavy. It presses down on the snow. It wraps around you. It creates a vacuum where your thoughts cannot exist. There is only the light. The corona, the crown of the night. Now the display reaches its peak. The ribbons stop moving sideways and seem to shoot directly toward you. You look straight up into the zenith. This is the corona, the crown. It looks as if a flower is blooming directly above your head. Rays of light burst outward in every direction. Green, purple, white, red. You are standing in the center of a cathedral of light. The pillars of the aurora are surrounding you, towering up to that single point above. It feels personal. It feels as if the show is happening just for you.
The light washes over the snow. The white ground reflects the green glow. The trees cast dancing shadows. Your own hands, if you looked at them, would be bathed in the soft, alien luminescence. You are bathed in starlight and solar wind. You are soaking in the energy of the cosmos, the hypnosis of movement. Let your eyes follow one single ribbon of light. Watch it start in the west. Watch it snake its way across the sky. It undulates, it pulses, it grows bright, then fades, then brightens again. It is a visual lullaby. Bright and fade, flow and pause, rise and fall. It mimics the rhythm of deep sleep. It mimics the brain waves of the dreaming mind. As you watch the slow, rhythmic dance, your own eyelids begin to droop. The spectacle is too grand to comprehend, so the mind gives up trying. It simply surrenders. You let go of the need to understand. You simply experience. You are small, the sky is big, and that is a relief. In the face of such cosmic beauty,
your small worries dissolve. They are nothing compared to the plasma rivers of the sun. They are swept away by the solar wind, fading into the dark. Slowly, the energy begins to wane. The storm in the magnetic field is quieting down. The bright crimson fades to a dull maroon, then vanishes. The violet fringe dissolves into the black. The intense neon green softens to a pale, milky wash. The fox has stopped running. The bridge is retracting. The spirits are lowering their torches. The curtain is being drawn back. The sky returns to the deep, steady black of the polar night. The stars reclaim their places, steady and unblinking. But the feeling remains. You know the magic is there, just invisible. Returning to the body. You turn away from the sky. You step back inside your warm sanctuary. You climb back into the bed. You close your eyes. But behind your eyelids, the lights are still dancing. You can see the green afterimage swirling in the dark. Your brain is saturated with the beauty of the light. Your body is heavy with the cold air and the warmth of the blankets. The magnetic shield of the earth is still there, high above you, silently protecting you from the void. You are held. You are shielded. The celestial lullaby has been sung. The lights have danced you to the edge of sleep. Drift now on the memory of the green light. Float on the solar wind. Sleep. The journey home. We have traveled far tonight, you and I. We have stood at the window watching the velvet silence of the first snowfall. We have peered through the microscope at the infinite geometry of the crystal. We have drifted on the slow blue back of the glacier and warmed ourselves by the fire of the Nordic hearth. We have looked up at the green fire of the aurora. But now the traveling is over. The exploration is done. The map is folded away. The lantern is extinguished. The door is locked. It is time to return to the center. It is time to return to the only place that matters right now, the sanctuary of your bed. The world outside can continue its cycle. The snow can fall, the wind can blow, the ice can shift. But you are done. You have learned the secrets of the cold, and now you can use them to find the deepest warmth. The landscape of the mind. I want you to close your eyes if they aren't closed already.
We are going to construct a final place, a place of absolute safety. We will call it the White Dreamscape. It is a mental space where all the relaxing facts we have learned exist together. It is a vast, open plain of pure, soft white. There are no edges here. There is no horizon line. The white of the snow blends perfectly into the white of the sky. It is a blank canvas. In this space, there is no time. There are no deadlines. There is no noise. There is only the soft, muffled acoustic shadow of the snow. You are lying in the center of this landscape, but you are not cold. You are resting on a bed of clouds, wrapped in the heaviest furs, the thickest wool, the warmest down. You are an island of heat in a sea of cool tranquility. The accumulation of heaviness. We are going to let the snow bury the body, not in a frightening way, but in a comforting, grounding way. We will use the weight of the snow to relax every muscle, starting from the ground and working our way up. Bring your attention to your feet. Imagine that a gentle, heavy snowfall is beginning in your dreamscape. Large, soft flakes are landing on your feet. They pile up, inch by inch. Feel the imaginary weight of a warm, heavy drift covering your toes, your arches, your ankles. The snow is packing down, pressing your feet into the mattress. They are so heavy.
They are anchored to the earth. You could not lift them if you tried, and you do not want to try. Let them go. Let them sleep. Now let the drift move up. Visualize the snow accumulating over your shins, your knees, your thighs. Think of the glacier. Think of that massive, slow-moving river of ice. Your legs are becoming like the glacier, solid, dense, unmovable. The tension in your muscles is melting, turning into water, flowing away, leaving only the heavy, relaxed stillness of the stone. Your legs are buried in the warm drift. They are safe. The center of gravity. Now bring the awareness to your hips and your stomach. This is the center of your body. Let the heavy white blanket rise to cover you here. Think of the bear in the den. Think of the slow, rhythmic heartbeat of hibernation. Thump, thump, thump. There is no rush here. The organs of the body are slowing down. The digestion is resting. The work of the day is finished. Feel the gravity pulling your hips down. The mattress is rising up to meet you, supporting you completely. You are sinking into the structure of the bed, just as the igloo settles into the landscape. You are held. You are supported. You are grounded. The release of the hands. Now the snow falls on your hands and arms. Let them lie by your sides or rest gently on your chest. Imagine the snowflakes landing on your palms. Each flake is a tiny weight, pressing your fingers open, relaxing the grip. We hold so much in our hands during the day: phones, steering wheels, pens, tension. Now, open the hand. Let the tool fall. Let the snow fill the empty space in your palm. Your arms feel heavy, like logs of wood ready for the fire. They are dormant. They are still. Shoulders drop away from the ears. The burden you have been carrying on your back, the backpack of worries, the weight of expectation. Imagine taking it off. Drop it in the snow. Watch the snow cover it immediately. It is gone, buried. You are free of it. The cooling of the mind. Finally, bring the awareness to your neck, your jaw, and your face.
Unclench the jaw. Let the tongue fall away from the roof of the mouth. Smooth out the forehead. Imagine the cool, clean air of the diamond dust touching your face. It is refreshing. It soothes the hot, tired skin. Imagine that glacier blue light we talked about. Let that blue light fill your head. It is a cool, liquid light. It washes through your brain, cooling down the synapses, quieting the electrical storms of thought. Your head is heavy on the pillow. The pillow is a snowdrift, soft and molded perfectly to your shape. Sink into it, breathing the winter air. Now connect with your breath. In the white dreamscape, the air is the cleanest air in the world. It is the air trapped in the ancient ice bubbles. It is pure oxygen. Take a slow, deep breath in. Inhale the white. Visualize the cool, clean air entering your nose, traveling down your throat, filling your lungs. It is clearing out the smoke, the dust, the noise. It brings clarity and peace. Now, breathe out slowly. Exhale the gray. Visualize your breath leaving your body as a warm mist, a gray fog. In that fog is the stress of the day. In that fog is the tension. Watch the mist drift away from you and dissolve into the cold air. It vanishes. Inhale the crystal clarity. Exhale the warm fog.
The rhythm is slow, like the ocean, like the glacier. There is a pause at the top of the breath, a moment of stillness. There is a pause at the bottom of the breath, a moment of silence. Rest in those pauses. The whiteout. Now, as you lie completely still, completely heavy, imagine the snow falling harder, but it is a gentle, silent storm. The world around you is turning white. The visual details are fading. The trees are disappearing into the white. The mountains are disappearing into the white. The horizon is gone. This is a whiteout. Usually, this is a navigational hazard, but here, in sleep, it is the ultimate freedom. There are no landmarks anymore. There is nothing to look at. There is nothing to focus on. You are floating in a cloud. Up is the same as down. Left is the same as right. There is no direction. There is only here. The whiteout erases the past. The snow covers your tracks. No one can find you here. You are hidden. You are secret. The whiteout erases the future. You cannot see the path ahead, so you do not need to walk it. You are simply suspended in the soft white void. The acoustic shadow. Listen one last time. What do you hear? Nothing. The velvet silence has triumphed. The snow has absorbed every sound in the universe. The roar of the world has been muffled to a whisper, and the whisper has faded to silence. The only sound left is the sound of your own existence, the gentle wave of your breath, the slow, steady drum of your heart. You are part of the silence now. You are not listening to it. You are it. You are the quiet snow. You are the still ice. You are the sleeping earth. Drifting away. The story is over. The facts have been told. The images have been seen. Now they are all melting together. The snowflake and the iceberg, the bear and the fire, the star and the crystal. They are swirling together in a slow, hypnotic spiral, drifting further and further away from your conscious mind. You don't need to hold on to them. Let them go. Let the thoughts turn into snowflakes. Let them fall. Let them land on the ground and melt. You are drifting deeper now.
Sinking through the layers of the snow, down into the warm, dark earth, down into the deep blue of the ocean, down into the comfortable dark. You are heavy. You are warm. You are safe. The white dreamscape is fading into the black velvet of sleep. The transition is seamless, from white to gray to the soothing, perfect black. There is nothing left to do. There is nothing left to be. Just drift. Just float. Just sleep. Good night.